Dear students of class 6, I welcome you today's online class. I'm Mrs. Seema Srua. Today we will do the reading of chapter 2nd of English Carnival book Taro's Reward. This story is about a thoughtful and loving son who works hard to fulfill his parents' wishes and get some unexpected help. A young woodcutter named Taro lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. Lonely means single. All day long he chopped means cut into pieces, wood in the forest. Though he worked very hard, he earned very little money. This made him sad, for he was thoughtful son and wanted to give his old parents everything they needed. One evening, when Taro and his parents were sitting in a corner of hut, a strong wind began to blow. It whistled through the cracks of hut and everyone felt very cold. Suddenly Taro's father said, I wish I had a cup of sake. Sake mean this is a Japanese drink which they drink when they feel cold. Next, it would warm me and do my old heart good. Good means fine. Now we will move forward to the next page. This made Taro sadder than ever, for the heart-warming drink called sake was very expensive. Expensive means costly. How do I earn more money? He asked himself. How do I get a little sake for my poor old father? He decided to work harder than before. Next morning, Taro jumped out of the bed earlier than usual. Earlier means very soon. Usual means as his routine. And made his way to the forest. He chopped and cut. He cuts the branches of trees into pieces, chopped and cut as the sun climbed. Climbed means rises, go up. And soon he saw so warm that he had to take off his jacket. His mouth his mouth was dry and his face was wet with sweat. Wet means moist and sweat means liquid running through the pores of skins when our body heat up. My poor old father, he thought, if only he was as warm as. And with that he began to chop even faster, thinking of extra money. Extra means more money. For more money, he uh, chop he chopped the woods faster. Must earn to buy the sake to warm the old man's bones. Then suddenly Taro stopped. Suddenly means quickly, surprisingly. Chopping. Chopping means cutting woods into pieces. What was that sound of he heard? Could it be? Could it possible be rushing water? Thoreau could not remember ever seeing or hearing rushing water stream in that part of the forest. He was thirsty. The axe dropped out of his hand. Drop out means fall down and ran in the direction of sound. Means Thoreau ran in the direction of sound, the sound of rushing water. Taro saw a beautiful little waterfall hidden behind a rock. Kneeling at kneeling at a place where the water followed quietly. Kneeling means sitting on knees. He cupped. Cupped means in shape of cup. He cupped a little in his hands and put it into his lips. Means he drank water. Was it water or was it sake? He tasted. So after drinking this water, Taro was surprised that whether it is water or the drink sake. He tasted it again and always it was the delicious. Delicious means tasty sake instead of cold water. So after tasting it again and again, he found that it was sake, not water. Next, seventh. Taro quickly filled the pitcher he had with him and hurried home. Pitcher means water jug. The old man was delighted. Delighted means happy. Delighted with the sake. After one swallow of the liquid, swallow means here its meaning is drinking. After only one swallow of the liquid he stopped shivering. Shivering means feeling cold and did a little dance in the middle of the floor. Means Taro gave this magic water to his father and his father stopped shivering. His father now not feeling cold and his father feeling happy after drinking this magic water. Means what Taro take in the picture. Now we will move forward to reading the next page. That afternoon, a neighbor stopped by for a visit. Visit means come to home. Taro's father politely offered her a cup of sake. The lady drank it greedily. The lady drank it greedily and thanked the old man. Then Taro told her the story of magic waterfall. Thanking them for the delicious drink, she left in hurry, but nightfall means evening. What she do in the evening? She had spread the story throughout the whole village. Spread means covering large area. That evening there was a long procession of visitors to the woodcutter's house. Procession means coming and going of people for something special. Each man heard the story of the waterfall and took a sip of the sake. In less than an hour, the pitcher was empty. Means the pitcher got empty in less than 1 hour. Next morning, Taro started for work even earlier. Earlier means very sooner than the morning before. He carried with him the largest pitcher he owned, for he instead first of all to go to the waterfall. When he reached it, he found to his great surprise all his neighbors there. Means the next day before Taro, his neighbors had reached there. They were carrying pitcher, jars, bucket, anything they could find to hold the magic sake. Then one villager knelt and held his mouth under the water fall to drink. Knelt means sitting on knees. He drank again and again and then shouted angrily, "Water? Nothing but water." Means he didn't have the taste of sake. He just feel the taste of water in this magic waterfall. Other also tried, but there was no sake, only cold water. "We have been tricked." Tricked means befooled. "We had been tricked," shouted the villagers. Means all villagers shouted that they had been fooled by Taro. And they shouted, "Where is Taro? Let us drown him in the waterfall." Drown means dipped in the water. But Taro is very wise and intelligent, seeing all these things. What is this happened there? Watching this all, Taro did something, but Taro had been wise enough. Taro is intelligent. What he did? Slip behind a rock when he saw how things are going. That how things are happened. Seeing all this, he slipped behind a rock. He was nowhere to be found, and they all find him nowhere. Muttering their anger and disappointment, the villagers left the place. Muttering means saying something in low voice. Disappointment means in sadness. This is disappointment, means sadness. In sadness, the villagers left the place, means they went from there. And when they go back, what happened? Taro came out from his hiding place. Was it true? He wondered. Means Taro was very surprised to watching this all, that they tasted the water and they found it that it is only water, not sake. Was the sake a dream? Once more he caught a little liquid in his hand and put it to his lips. It was the same fine sake to the thoughtful son. But for Taro, it was the same sake, but not for the people who came there. The people tasted the magic water, they found it as water, but when again Taro tasted it, Taro found it as fine sake. To the thoughtful son means who take care of his parents. The magic waterfall gave the delicious sake, delicious means tasty, to everyone else. But for other peoples, this is only a cold water. Means for Taro, it was a delicious, delicious dish, but for the people, it was just water. The story of Taro and his magic waterfall reached the Emperor of Japan. Means the Emperor of Japan also heard about the story of this magic waterfall. What he do? He he sent me call for the young woodcutter and rewarded him with 20 pieces of gold for having been so good and kind. So the Emperor of Japan rewarded Taro with 20 pieces of gold. For what? For having been so good and kind. Then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. Means उसने he gave a name to the most beautiful fountain in the city, Taro. He gave name Taro to the most beautiful fountain in the city. This said the emperor was to encourage all children to honor and obey their parents. So according to this story, what is the lesson? We should learn that we should always honor and obey our parents. If we do this, then we will definitely rewarded by God in any way. So student, this is the story. Read this chapter yourself, and for any query, call me personally. Thank you students. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay home.